For cheap GTA shark cards and other games, check out g2a.com, there's a link in the description, and of course use my discount code AZUO for an extra discount. Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Sam, or Chaotic, and welcome back to another GTA 5 video here on my channel. Now in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing the all-new Vapid Dominator GTX releasing soon into GTA Online. As I'm making this video, it hasn't been released yet, but should be released next week on Tuesday, May 1st. So in today's video, I'm going to be showcasing this car, taking a look at some of the features and things that you guys need to know about this vehicle before it releases in GTA Online. So once it is, so you guys know everything there is to know about this vehicle and whether it's worth buying or not. So let's go ahead and get straight into things. And let's begin first of all with this vehicle's price. Now once released, this vehicle will be available on the Southern San Andreas Super Autos website for a price of $725,000, making this pretty expensive and one of the most expensive muscle cars available in GTA Online, in fact being in the top 5 in the category. And if you compare this to the real-life car it's based upon, which I guess is technically supposed to be a Mustang, but it's also influenced by the Dodge Charger and the Camaro, it's certainly a lot more expensive than what it is in real life, costing around $35,000 or so. In fact, the standard or original Dominator that's been in-game since 2013, when GTA 5 first released, only cost $35,000 from the same website, which means this vehicle is more than 20 times more expensive than the standard or original Dominator. So this new version of the Dominator is certainly a lot more expensive and just goes to show you how inflation has really gone up over the past few years in GTA Online. But one thing worth noting with this new Dominator GTX, it is the first new or modern muscle car added to GTA Online in a DLC update. As far as I'm aware of, this is the first modern muscle car that Rockstar have added to GTA Online since the game first released back in 2013. And it's definitely something the community has been asking for more of, so at last we've gotten ourselves this. Now I myself love the original Dominator, I think it is a great car, it's fun to drive, and as I'm sure you guys know, has plenty of customization for an original GTA 5 vehicle. Well, you guys will be happy to hear if you love customization that this car also has plenty of customization options. In fact, it has even more. This car is definitely one of the more customizable cars from this update, and there's so many different things you can do to this. So to start things off, you can change out the front bumper and basically add a splitter or an extender with plenty of different color options. You can also add a brace bar as well under the hood. Unfortunately, I'm playing in story mode right now, so the hood doesn't open so we can view that. But obviously online, once this car is available, you'll be able to see those for yourselves. When it comes to the exhausts, as you can see as well, there are loads of different exhaust options with 11 different options in total. I myself prefer the stock option, so I kept that, but there's definitely plenty of choice. Then the next option is fenders, so you can add these extended wheel arches if you want to. Annoyingly, they don't go all the way around the arch, which I was kind of disappointed about, and if you want to, you can go for sticker bomb as well. This car for some reason does have quite a few sticker bomb options for various different panels. I'm not really too sure why. I would never associate sticker bomb with muscle cars, but if you guys like that sort of thing, then you can fit that to this vehicle. You can also customize the grille on this as well. The grille is definitely inspired by the Camaro, and as you can see, we have 11 different options. Now again, yes, plenty of cool different choices in this category, but again, I preferred stock, so I kept that. Then in hoods, we have 17 different hood options in this category, some really awesome ones as well. It was pretty difficult to actually choose my favorite, but I did end up selecting the Rally Spec hood. But there really are some great choices in this category. And the stock one as well, in fairness, is pretty nice too. Speaking of which, it's also worth pointing out the stock hood is the only hood in this category which has the Vapid badge on it, so if you want to keep the car's badge, you will of course have to keep the stock hood, but it's not really a big thing, so I'm sure you guys won't be too bothered about that. Moving on though, this car also has mudguard upgrades, so if you want to, you can fit mudguards to this car, of course fitting mudguards to all 4 wheels, and as you can see, has the Vapid logo written on them as well. Then going on to the next customization option, this being the rear panel, and as you can see if you want to, you can change this for a different color. I kept it stock as the primary color, but you can go for your secondary, black or carbon. Then as for respray, this car looks great in a range of different colors. In fact, pretty much any color you select will look great on this car. It's just one of those. I really like the red this car was already in when I got it, so I kept this car in the red. But if you guys have any really good suggestions, of course, let me know in the comment section. There's also a secondary color on this car as well, which as you can see changes a few things, the wing mirrors and the door handles mostly, and of course any secondary panels you may have selected as well. The next customizable option is roof, and again in here loads of different options and choices with 20 different things to choose between, and there are so many great looking options, so I'm sure like myself when you guys come to customize this car, you'll be stuck on which one to choose. But in the end, I selected the sports roof. I felt it was the most similar and went well with the hood option I had on the car already. But then after this, the next customizable feature is the skirts, and again, 15 different choices in this category, so if you guys were worrying about there being a limited amount of customization and choice for this vehicle, well, you're completely wrong. There are so many different things you can do to this, and again, with some pretty cool options like having the Mark 1 or Mark 2 ram bar fitted to this, which are also available for the Comet Safari. So I guess depending on what style and look you want to go for, whether it be that race or track look, or that menacing or off-road look, then there's certainly plenty of things to choose between. And of course this car also has a load of spoiler options as well. Whereas the original Dominator only had 2 options, a ducktail or a basic spoiler, this has 18 different options. Now in fairness, the car looks great already from standard without a spoiler, but I ended up going for this one. I thought it was kind of cool and wasn't too over the top like many of the spoiler options. Now this car from standard, as you guys can see, already comes with a set of high-end wheels, the carbonic Z wheels, but the standard ones this car haven't got the carbon wrap or carbon paint job on them, they are just black. I kind of like these, so I kept the stock ones and didn't change them. And then finally, after applying bulletproof tyres and a red tyre smoke, window tints, I of course tinted these fully all the way to limo. So there we go, that is it then for the customization of this vehicle. It will take you a good 5 or 10 minutes or so to go through all the customization options and choose your favorites on this one. But that's great, loads of different choices and options available for this vehicle. It's one of those ones which I feel if Rockstar was still releasing vehicles for Benny's original Motorworks, this would definitely have been one of those. But for some reason, Rockstar aren't releasing any new vehicles to Benny's, maybe because in the past they haven't been too popular, I'm not too sure. Now as you guys just saw a few moments ago, as I was sliding around in that parking lot, this car, when you go to accelerate, loves to spit flames out the exhaust. It is very, very cool and has a really nice sound effect as well. You guys are going to love this as well whilst driving this around in GTA Online. So just spinning around in circles or accelerating off the line will spit out numerous flames, which I don't think any other car in GTA Online that I know of at least does this on the same basis or frequency this car does. Now just like the Mustang this car is mostly based upon, this has 2 sets of lights, the main lights and these sort of side LED bars in between the grille and the main lights. And these are also fully functioning in GTA 5 as well. When you swap between the headlights and the main beams, it activates these inner bars, which is a really cool feature. Not all vehicles in GTA 5 are like this and fully functioning, so that's also worth bearing in mind. And by the way, yes, the rear lights on the back as well, as you can see, when you activate these headlights, activates a bar that goes all the way around the rear panel on this vehicle, which is also extremely nice. So the new Dominator GTX has plenty of cool features, loads of customization, but what about its performance? Well, first of all, its top speed. Now, this is the part of the video where this car becomes very disappointing. Its top speed is only 108 miles an hour, and if you're going downhill, it may stretch to 109 or 110 miles an hour, but that, for this vehicle, is extremely slow. There are so many cars in the muscle car category alone which are faster than this. For example, the standard Dominator, the original one that's been in-game since 2013, has a top speed of over 118 miles an hour, a whole 10 mile an hour faster than this. The Pisswasser Dominator, which is the race version, is 124. So basically, without reading out every top speed of every car in the muscle car category, this is somewhere towards the bottom. There's only 1 or 2 which are slightly slower than this, and it's not like this car has an amazing acceleration to make up for this, as you guys will now see in this drag race comparison between the new Dominator GTX and the original Dominator. So using the fully customized Dominator GTX that I just customized a few moments before and comparing it against a fully upgraded Dominator, you'll see how big of a difference there really is between these two cars. Now you'd expect with this being a newer version of the Dominator, there would be at least a little bit faster, but the difference between these two is pretty substantial, as you'll see now in a few moments. So the new Dominator GTX completes this drag race from one side of the airfield to the other in 25.14 seconds, hitting a top speed of 104 miles an hour. Now this on its own is pretty disappointing, but when we compare this to the old and original Dominator, you can see straight away in the footage how bad it really is. So about halfway or so into the drag race, we already hit the 104 mile an hour top speed the Dominator GTX hits, and by the end of the runway gets to a speed of 114 miles an hour, so a whole 10 mile an hour faster, and completes this just over a second quicker with a time of 24.13 seconds. Now a second may not seem all that significant, but do bear in mind this is a pretty short drag race. A second over this distance is pretty significant, so imagine over a much longer distance, maybe driving from one side of the map to the other, or during a race, how much of a difference that will make. So not only is the original Dominator's top speed higher than the new Dominator GTX, but it's also much faster in the terms of acceleration. So I'm sure it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway, is pretty disappointing. But there is a reason for this. As I'm sure you guys know, with this update, Rockstar added a new game mechanic into the game, which adds engine resistance to all the new vehicles released in the San Andreas Supersport Series update. There are also various handling flags as well. All these things affect the performance of these vehicles, and that's most likely why this new Dominator GTX is so slow in comparison to the old Dominator. Now hopefully at some point in the future, most likely with the next update at this point, Rockstar will remove these new game mechanics they've added and these handling flags, which will fix the issue with these vehicles and will hopefully mean the Dominator GTX will perform much better, or at least be much faster than it currently is. But until then, the old Dominator is much better performance-wise than the new Dominator GTX, which personally just doesn't make sense. Now in fairness, in the terms of handling and cornering, this car isn't too bad. It's actually pretty good. So when Rockstar eventually fixed the performance issue with these new vehicles, it wouldn't surprise me if this new Dominator GTX is one of the best in the terms of performance around a track in the muscle car category. But until then, it renders this car pretty useless if you guys wanted to use this in any performance required situation, whether it be a race or just driving around in free mode. There are certainly much better alternatives which I would recommend over this one, and ones which are certainly much cheaper than this. So there we go then guys, with that being said, that's pretty much it then for this video. Of course, I want to get your thoughts and feelings on the new Vapid Dominator GTX. Do you guys like it? Will you be buying it when it's released in GTA Online? So go ahead and leave a comment right now and let me know. If you guys could drop a like on this video as well, it would of course be greatly appreciated and it would help me out a lot. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you do, because I upload all the latest and the greatest Grand Theft Auto 5 content. So as always guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.